All right, so I've been hearing a lot of. I watched a couple of videos, and I've been seeing where people saying that the WBC, crooked and all this other crap, and how they playing with the mandatory and the number one and Luis Ortiz, all this whole the whole storyline. Stuff we've been hearing. So this is my thing on this, man. We all know WBC been crooks. They've been doing shit all the time, man. What's new? Is anybody surprised at this point? But my thing, I got a whole different approach about this whole situation, this whole scenario, and I'm going to get down into it, man, what I think could possibly be what's going on here. And, hey, man, it's just all my opinion, and what I think. So, we all know that Dillian White and Eddie Hearn has been doing a lot of crying and complaining about what's fair, what's not fair. Dillian White, Dominic Brazil, the WBC mandatory, they supposed to get a shot at Wilder, all this other stuff. See, now we all know that Eddie Hearn is using Dillian White as a pawn, as a tool to keep Wilder away from AJ. We get that, and to get all the belts in the match room, back over to the match room. So this is what I'm saying. We got to ask ourselves this question, man. Is Mauricio Sulaiman, the president of WBC, is he trying to G-check Eddie Hearn? Because, like I said, they want the shot at Wilder so bad, but, Dillian White been saying that Ortiz is ducking him and all this other stuff, and he been going back and forth. 1 minute he don't want to fight, why should he fight? And then next minute, whatever. So this is what I'm looking at. Mauricio Sulaiman could possibly be saying, "Hey, man, look, okay, Eddie Hearn, you've been having a lot to say. You got this old snobby, big ego you got going on. You real high on yourself, and maybe it's a possibility that Mauricio Sulaiman is trying to put Eddie Hearn in his place to a certain degree. And what I mean by that, just say if Dillian White loses to Ortiz, that eliminates Eddie Hearn's pawn for Matchroom. See, if the WBC mandates Luis Ortiz versus Dillian White, he has to fight Luis Ortiz, or he just loses his. If he don't take the fight, he loses his mandatory spot at Wilder period in WBC. We get that. So maybe Mauricio Sulaiman is asking Eddie Hearn and Dillian White, he's trying to show them and asking them at the same time, how bad do you really want this green belt? See, I truly believe that Mauricio Sulaiman is not trying to let that green belt go to UK at all. And he knows Eddie Hearn wants that green belt over there in the UK. So this could be another stumbling block to the chess game that he could be doing to negate Eddie Hearn's checkmate situation. If you follow what I'm saying, that's just how I'm looking at it. You understand? This is how I'm looking at it. So, but on the flip side, but on the flip side, if Luis Ortiz loses to Dillian White, then Mauricio Sulaiman still has an extra doggy bone in his back. He can still finesse the whole. I keep getting the fucking Dominic Brazil situation. See what I'm saying? See, in the rules, they can finesse the number one, the mandatory, and they do all that. So it's not set in stone to where Dillian White has to fight Deontay Wilder because he's mandatory number one or whatever the case may be. That's not how the WBC rules go. They do that to finagle, to finesse when it benefits them. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, maybe Dillian White is probably getting what he's asking for. It's not official, but I'm just saying if Mauricio Sulaiman decides to make this move, I couldn't see no other reason why he would make this move besides the reason why I just said that. Now see, Now, see, if Dillian White, if Luis Ortiz beats Dillian White, like I said, that takes away that pawn from Matchroom. That makes it hard for him to get the green belt back over there in the UK, to get all the belts. Puts more pressure on AJ. You see? Because see, if Dillian White loses to Ortiz, do you think people is the UK fans really going to want to see AJ versus Dillian White too? I'm wondering if they really want to see Dillian White versus Tashore. You know? Maybe they might want to see it. I don't know, but at this point, why go back? Why go backwards? That's going backwards, to me, in my opinion. You know, if you want to just stay busy or whatever, that's cool. But if you're on the grind on the come up, fighting Chisora is a waste of time. So we're gonna see what happens here next in the I don't know when the deadline is or whatever the case may be. Because Mauricio Sulaiman is saying that it's tricky how Dominic Brazil got the mandatory position to fight the winner of Wilder and Fury and all this other crap. But my whole thing is this: why are none of these media guys who's asking these questions, or ladies who's asking the WBC these questions, why ain't nobody asking him what's tricky? Why ain't nobody asking him could he please further elaborate on what the situation is, or why we don't got no understanding of what's tricky, and he got these special obligations, why he's why ain't nobody asking these questions? I mean, yeah, y'all let Mauricio Sulaiman just sit here and tell y'all anything, and y'all just roll with it. Y'all just report it, and that's just it. Y'all, no rebuttal, no backlash, no why, no nothing. It's just whatever. I don't get it. I mean, that leaves everybody, lost in the sauce. That's the thing about a lot of these media reporters. They're not asking the tough questions. They're not getting down to the bottom line. You can't let nobody just give you an answer and don't elaborate. If you don't have a clear understanding of what their answer is, or why they gave you that answer, if it's not clear and cut, you need to dig further. Tell them to simplify it. Tell them, get to the bottom line of it. If not, then if they don't elaborate and break it down to your understanding, then 9 times out of 10 it's some bullshit. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out whether somebody pulling your leg or trying to shoot you shit or not. You can't be that dumb. If somebody's avoiding trying to give you the bottom line, then you got to be able to read them between the lines. But I think it's a real interesting move. If it does happen, it'd be interesting to see, because I want to see Dillian White versus Luis Ortiz anyway. I want to kill all this talking that they doing. I want to see that. I think Wilder and Fury needs this on their undercard. They really need this fight on their undercard. They have to have a storyline to what's next after Wilder and Fury. Especially if they're not trying to, if they're trying to just kill the whole AJ notion, you got to have a build up to what's next, because we don't know what's next. We can't depend on AJ and Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? So if Dillian White and Luis Ortiz fight happens, and if Luis Ortiz beats Dillian White, that'll put AJ in a bad spot, to me, in my opinion. Put him in a bad spot, and that'll put his opponents on the recycle list. Pretty much damn near everybody. He had to face Wilder, Fury, or somebody like that immediately. Nobody else would be interested in see who he wants to fight next, or anything outside of that. You understand? So, and I don't know, man. I just can't wait to see what's on this undercard, Wilder and Fury undercard. I think they need to put a bigger draw on there, something that's gonna, draw more casual fans. And I think Dillian White would be a big help, from the UK, because you got Fury over there plus Dillian White, so that'll draw more UK fans. It would help out. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Just speculation. It's your boy JB Trap House Boxing. What you waiting on? Subscribe to the channel. Like, share the video always. Y'all get y'all jab right and jab that like button and share the video always, man. And shout out to everybody out there on their box and grind. Peace.